Hi guys, today I want to introduce you to Broken Arrow, a game that might just surpass every RTS game I have posted on my channel, such as Wargame Red Dragon, Steel Division 2 and Man-O-War series. Now before diving into all the nooks and crannies, let's just appreciate this amazingly well put together trailer. What we just saw were paratroopers, tactical nukes, cruise missiles, and amphibious landings. I truly believe that they took inspiration from games such as Ruse, where this grand scale of warfare was really the core of its success. I watched an interview with Felix Aber, who worked for Eugen Systems for 6 years prior to joining Steel Balalaika Studio, where he is the creative director. Now this project started as a fan project but morphed into an actual full-time studio-based effort. You can already guess that the game will be focused on modern warfare. They will however put a limit on this. They do not want to move too far into the next generation warfare, so Broken Arrow will remain in the domain of classic warfare but with relatively advanced weaponry. In the dev diary they explain more about the various types of units, customizability and other mechanics, so I will briefly touch upon these to give you guys a better idea of what this game will be about. For instance, every unit there is, they aim to make them customizable. The Striker ICV, for example, the weapon on the top can be modified completely, ranging from an M2 Browning to javelin missiles, smoke dispensers and so on. In terms of armor, we also have a wide range of choices, which will depend on the role that you give your armored units, whether you keep them at a long range or you move them into the heat of battle. So this already adds another dimension to the gameplay. The main armor mechanics are similar to games such as Wargame and Steel Division, and with this I mean that the armor value determines the amount of damage the incoming projectile will do. You will be able to modify your armor though, with slat armor, which is basically a metal cage that will damage or prematurely detonate incoming projectiles, explosive reactive armor, which is an extra layer on top of your regular armor, sitting on an explosive charge which will detonate and eject the armor against the incoming projectile. Last but not least, you will be able to add active protection systems to your tanks, which basically detect incoming projectiles and shoot them in mid-air with an explosive charge or another projectile. Now all these modifications will have certain drawbacks, such as making your armored vehicle heavier and thus slower. Let's discuss helicopters. Helicopters will have a similar customization profile. For example, the armaments and sensors can be adjusted completely. In the case of the Apache, for example, you can add the longbow radar, which is used to detect enemies and to lock on missiles to these targets. Currently, the Ka-52 and the Apache are the ones showcased the most, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. In terms of transport helicopters, they aim to include helicopters that range from the Little Bird that can only carry a handful of infantry units to the beastie Chinook, or the giant Russian Mi-26 helicopter. The biggest helicopters will be able to transport not just squads of troops, but also supplies and even carry vehicles, all at the same time. Now to counter anti-air vehicles, helicopters will be able to alter their elevation and use the terrain to their advantage, but this doesn't just just come without a price. The reduced elevation will alter the speed of the aircraft, so they really thought about ways to make every mechanic as balanced as possible. The last thing they discussed, briefly, was infantry. Infantry will be the backbone of your forces in Broken Arrow, and it already is in many other strategy games such as Wargame or Steel Division. As a matter of fact, about 30% of all the units I use in these two strategy games is infantry. The basic loadout of infantry will be set on rifles, like machine guns and grenade launchers, to fight against other infantry squads, and they usually also carry short-range anti-tank weapons. However, there will be many specialized infantry units that focus completely on their own thing, such as anti-tank by carrying ATGMs, anti-air by carrying man-pads, or they will be in supportive role by carrying heavy machine guns, for example. Special forces will also be a class on their own. They will be able to fulfill many roles, ranging from saboteurs that can blow up bridges, to silent assassins using suppressed weapons, or the squads with full auto shotguns and multiple grenade launchers destined to be door kickers. Infantry will be deployable with ground vehicles, which obviously will vary in their type and weaponry, but paratroopers will finally become a thing in an RTS game. This is already the case in some older games, but was never implemented in Wargame or Steel Division, although I personally, together with other content creators, begged Eugen Systems to make this a thing. The base game features both the American and Russian factions with more than 100 units at the moment of writing. I do, however, not know whether they will add other nations to the game throughout its development, but perhaps this is something I could ask them in the Q&A. Now, I hope this short video got you excited about Broken Arrow. It is scheduled to release somewhere in 2022, so we're not even that far away. Check out the link in the description to know more about this game and to wishlist it on Slytherin.com.